There she goes. All right. Thank you so much for joining me, Mr. Tommy Meehan, a man of many faces. Um, I want to get into faces really quickly, but before we get into that, because a lot of people have talked about your very obvious fake, it's not fake up, your makeup, your fierce makeup, I think is what I was trying to go with that. But you are also a man of weird names. Baxter Yogurt. I wished I never heard that name again. Knowing the reference, I was like, no. um, and then you've got Grodius Maximus, obviously. You're a snake person at times. I have watched many times in wonder of the visual element, but I'm wondering if you put a lot of thought into the names.
Some things just kind of stick, or I mean, in those three instances, like Baxter Yogurt, I had for like 25 years, just kind of kicking around in notebooks for some reason. Um, and yeah, I finally wanted to put it someplace. And so Squid Pisser was also a thing I had kind of been kicking around for over 20 years, the idea to do this band. And that's why I moved to LA, was to find band members for what this is now, but I was yeah, struggled to kind of find people. Mostly it was a drummer. It was tough finding like a drummer that could play psycho spazzy stuff really. So
In the Bay Area?
I was in the Bay Area and then moved to Los Angeles over just like 20 years ago this year, trying. And then so yeah, that was basically the mission statement, was to get this band going. Initially it was a project called Razzle Blaster that we did a few EPs and played a few shows around LA, and then that kind of like never really was able to get any footing in the way of like stability. So I kind of like shifted gears and did a bunch of other stuff for 20 years, and then or so, and then circled back and was like, okay, it's time. I got to do this thing that I moved here to try and do, and that's Squid Pisser, essentially. So yeah,
Okay. And I remember that really took off pretty quickly during the pandemic. A lot of people resonated with the vile imagery. They were just like, Jesus Christ, what is it? It's called Squid Pisser. Is there any like visual inspirations for the mask and like the get up for Squid Pisser? Is it like a reference to anything or just a gross nightmare?
yeah, nothing specific. I think gross nightmare is kind of like the accurate way to put that. It's just more like, I don't know, feelings, or more esoteric, just kind of like what comes out naturally without really overthinking anything, like the lyrics to just everything. I mean, like, I definitely want to say things. There are things kind of that I retroactively look at that I had written in, or put down on paper or something, and I'm like, oh, that was me expressing this specific part of my childhood or something, or and so like there's a lot of just kind of like following your heart and flying by the seat of your pants and just kind of using instinct over versus overthinking things, because I've been in a lot of bands where people overthink or over discuss, and sometimes you get caught up in doing a lot of talking and not a lot of doing. And so I've just kind of really wanted to cut that completely and go shoot from the hip, I guess.
Do you feel like Squid Pisser gets to do that in like the live setting where like you feel like the expression is like at your maximum capacity, kind of like you're just like fully in that like feral, I don't know, primal mode, I guess. Like, does that
Yeah.
feel you feel expressing yourself in the fullest?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, it's really just kind of like you don't know what you're gonna do or what's gonna happen, and then you got your guys up there, the band now, which are all awesome. We just did our first tour a couple weeks ago. We just got back with this, the five of us, this lineup, and it's a really solid group of dudes, and everyone's awesome, and we're just gelling and vibing, and yeah, and that too, and like that you have like the support of your people. It's like we're this force, we're this onslaught, and you have kind of more confidence to go do whatever it is that you need to do to express
Yeah.
yourself or put on a show or whatever it is. Yeah.
You'd mentioned in a couple of interviews where like it's almost like you don't even mean to say the word, but you say like improvisational in these points. And I'm like, I think of these songs as like big, dark collages, but not necessarily something that is improvised. So I was just wondering if you could expand on like maybe is that what you're looking for? Is like you have this solid backing and it's like you can let like the really wild side of that like come out on guitar or like your vocals. Is that kind of what I'm hearing? Like that improvisational element is like being squeezed into like a good mold right now.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. It's like the songs structurally, rhythmically are on this track. Our drummer is holding it down. By the way, it's our drummer is Brady Kennedy. He's from this band Clout Chaser, which
Oh my
rips.
God.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Dude, yeah, they're amazing and he's playing with us now and we're so stoked on that. And so like but so the drummer's like holding everything down and we know where all the hits are and all the beats are, but like guitar wise, there's a lot of pedal stuff and kind of spazzy chaos, but then we all slam on the right beat and everything and everything's slathered on top, but still somehow locked in. And so I mean, yeah, in that regard, there is like some improv and like some nights might be nastier or more vibrato or fucking going off the rails musically than other nights. But yeah, it's just kind of how you feel. And yeah, I don't know. Um,
They're giving you the right foil for that to like to get that monster loose. But that's really cool. I wasn't asking like in the way that I'm like, well, I mean, is it not formed? I'm asking more in the way that I've seen a lot of shows like from different genres and something like maybe you've heard of them or seen them. Zeta is like almost feels like a spiritual experience where it's like fish but metal and like
right.
post-hardcore.
They're from Florida.
Yes.
Yeah, my old band, the Manx, would play with those guys, and like I think we maybe met them for the first time in Miami at Churchill's Pub.
Cool.
We were playing Sweat Records with, and then Human Fluid Rot. I don't know if you're familiar, is a nasty noise guy in
Seeing the
Miami.
merch of it.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that was like years ago now at this point. We became friends with Zeta, but I haven't kept up with those guys in a while. But I know what you're saying, or maybe like Daikaiju or something where there's
Yeah.
this, I don't even know what we're talking about anymore, but like that's like a spiritual situation where
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I
music.
see Squid Pisser on that same thing, but like in nightmare mode. And so it's cool to see that you have like you've always had a very aggressive and uncompromising footing with that. So I don't think anyone's ever been like less than impressed. But I think now with this extra element, with the extra band members, it's really crazy to see and hear. I love the new single too. It
Oh, cool.
sounds different in a weird way. Like it also sounds classic Squid Pisser, but and like the little write up I did, I mentioned that it sounds almost like dangerously close to getting personal or like more heartfelt or something deeper. Is
Cool.
that vaguely accurate?
Yeah, thanks for looking into it that much or even listening to it at all. It's funny. It's like we work so hard on stuff and then put it out there and then we oh yeah, then people are checking it out. That feels really good. So yeah, thanks for that.
Of course. I love that
Yeah,
song.
yeah. This EP, it's like five new songs, and then it's on Skin Graft and my own label, Sweatband Records, and then there's a bunch of cool remixes on side B, and it is very a lot more personal, kind of with a more deliberate message, I would say, than the other, kind of more just like I was saying earlier, like esoteric or shooting from the hip stuff that had come out where it was like, what am I saying? What am I writing? What are we doing here? But with this, there was kind of a mission statement. I think a lot of it's like based off of personal experiences I've had over the last 5 or 6 years with like people. Uh,
Sure.
yeah. And just how dangerous people are, really, especially when they're not like expressing themselves or being their true selves. And so, yeah, there's a lot of personal experiences in these songs, which is, thanks for picking up on that. Yeah. And I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
It
The
felt like I
lyrics will
could.
come out soon too. And
Oh, okay.
maybe people, yeah, pick up on any of that. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, not at all. I was just saying, like, I could very much be mistaken, in the normal torrential outpour of Squid Pisser, like it's always a barrage of stuff, and I could easily just be making my own assumptions and kind of getting it right. But there's the music seemed almost a little more complex in the way that there's like more harmony and maybe even more samples or something happening in the background where it has like the Iowa feel from Slipknot.
Yeah, cool. That's awesome. Uh, yeah, I mean that album's fucking just, yeah.
One of the best. I just got this stems for it, like the reference mix for like the just what song? I don't remember what song it is, but it's one of the best ones on Iowa. And
Oh wow.
I am going back to like a bunch of shit that I was working on with Ben Kohler from Converge. And I'm like, okay, well, I have to
Dude.
remix all of this shit because it has to sound more like that.
Wow. Oh, sick. You're working on your own stuff right now that you were working on with.
Yeah, out here, there's not a lot of people to work with.
Oh, so you got him to drum on some stuff?
hmm
Oh,
he
sick.
put out those like he'll just say that he's working on sessions, and
Yeah, yeah.
so we've done honestly like 6 or 7 songs now, and I think we want to do at least a couple more. But it's nowhere near pushing it like Squid Pisser, but it is something where I want to feel kind of what we were mentioning, where I just want to feel like the expression is like at the maximum, and I don't want to overthink like with prog bands like I did before. Um, it can be really heartbreaking in a way that's natural, but like you said before, like you run into a lot of ceilings where a lot of decision making it's you want to be democratic, and then something is forgotten, and then it's been months before you've revisited something, but it meant something to you the whole time, and it's just like things get lost really easily, and when you sit on those things it kind of sucks after a while. You're just like, is this even fun anymore? So just wanted to like blast off some emotions and ended up capturing some cool stuff, but I know you know how that is.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. That's great. So it's
uh,
just you and him, this project so far?
Yeah, and then there's another guy that writes for Fecking Bahamas sometimes too, named Haunt Luma. He does a project called At Home with Monsters. We talk about Squid Pisser and GWAR fairly often, and he has helped with like some production stuff. And we just did a weird cover of a Union song, like an old protest song that's gonna come out soon. Um, and I don't know how much I can talk about that yet, but like I'm excited for the stuff that's happening despite being like it's just me, my spouse, and my pets out here. It is boring as shit. We have like a couple friends. We don't see them very often. It is hard. um, but yeah, St. George is whatever. It could grow up one day. It's just so far south of Salt Lake, and then kind of an hour and a half outside of Vegas. So you're
Right.
just in the
Oh,
middle of
there.
nowhere.
That's kind of nice. I'm like envious of that at this point. I'm like on tour all the time and seeing people all the time. I'm in Los Angeles and it's just like boom, boom, boom. It's like having some kind of um sanctuary away from everybody. Like COVID was awesome in that way where I was just like, yes, I don't have to see anybody for a while. Just gonna vibe
Dude,
out or make music and stuff. And I feel like there should be like a mandatory sabbatical or something. But I mean, I don't know. So grass is always greener, I guess. Like you're talking about your lifestyle, and I'm like, oh, that sounds really nice. But it's I guess it's a balanced situation. But you're
yeah,
still making stuff happen, via you know this and the internet and stuff, working with cool ass people. So that's
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 true, and I
awesome.
appreciate that. You're one of the cooler ones.
Oh shit. Um. Well, yeah. Yeah. Sounds cool. I'm excited to hear all that stuff. Yeah. Send it to me when you
gotta, I
when you
gotta
can.
finish it. I'm just terrible with vocals. I don't know if you ever like sat with hours and hours of just hating your vocals and screaming into the night and just being like, I don't get one fucking good take, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah, I deal with that stuff, but I don't know, you just gotta push through it and
That's what I'm getting. You
be
just have to
okay.
do it.
Yeah, and just know that the next one's gonna be better than this one, or this is where you're at right now. And like, yeah, I know. Utilizing your capabilities, leaning into whatever it is, wherever you're at right now. I don't know. But yeah, I think we all struggle with that to some degree. So, but I feel you.
Do you have to practice vocals when you are working with GWAR?
Um, the stuff that I do with GWAR is very kind of just backup. And so it's not too involved. It's usually part of like an ensemble of voices.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of like dialogue in between songs, which is really fun. So just joking around. We call it smoking and joking, and we're just like shooting the shit and messing around and improving. But then over the course of a tour, like 2 weeks in, you'll be like, you guys will hit a fl or we'll everyone will hit a flow and it's like, oh, okay, now we kind of got the beats and the rhythms of everything. We write stuff beforehand and we try it in the rehearsal space, but it doesn't by the end of the tour, we're like, fuck yeah, we're nailing it. Like the last 3 days of the tour, we're like, damn, that was now on to write another script or whatever. It's like, all right,
Wow. That's
Yeah.
so cool. Actually, one of the questions I had is like, what does a writing session look like with those guys?
Yeah, because we're all in different places right now. It's like it's something a lot like this, but with, 10 of us or whatever. And but when we're all together, it's everybody in the room just kind of like shooting stuff out and cracking up, and whatever makes people laugh the most is what ends up getting put in there. And then it might look like, all right, we're done with that. Let's rehearse. Okay, we're done. We have what we had written down on the script. Oh, this came to mind. I'm gonna add this or whatever. And then people kind of work on their own things. And on the tour, we'll be in the dressing room. I think maybe we should switch this thing up. It's just constantly evolving. And we're also reading how well, it's received, if the crowd gets what we're talking about, the story. And then also, how it feels for us to do it. Sometimes something comes out, it just isn't naturally what we would do, so we have to kind of come up with something else. So that's all pretty vague, but like that's just kind of how it is. It's just constantly um,
It sounds like a
evolving.
writing session like that anyone would have. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
It makes me think of like I've been watching a lot of Dimension 20 that like shit, what is it? Dungeons and Dragons, and it makes me wonder if like GWAR could have a successful like Dungeons and Dragons
Oh man.
setup. That would be a really cool tour.
Oh, dude, yeah, a tour, like a stage show about it. I mean, that's
Yeah,
basically what it
exactly.
is. And yeah, Guar's done everything under the sun in terms of like stories over the years, and those guys are all big Dungeons and Dragons nerds. That's what it's called, Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes the words just stop making sense when it comes
Yeah.
to
Yeah. So yeah, those guys are all into like painting miniatures and like comic books. And I mean, so am I, but those guys have been doing it for decades and really into all that stuff. Playing Magic the Gathering and stuff. Like they were doing that stuff when it first came out in the 90s or whatever.
Oh
Um,
yeah. We just did a really cool thing with See You Next Tuesday and like Chop 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 Chop. They did like a Magic card EP. And we
oh,
got to do like an exclusive for them. It was really unexpected. Whenever we get to work with like heavy bands, I'm so excited because it's like part of my background of just fascination with being technical. So like any chance I can jump and like just talk about how technical either a blast beat or a guitar part or just a theoretical thing was, I will throw that shit on Fecking Bahamas, no problem.
yeah.
But speaking of like nerdy stuff, I wanted to push that a little further. In all your projects, you're kind of like a garbage pail kid and you are just pushing the gross factor to the limit. But I wonder, like, has the idea of being subversive or like a button pusher, has that like changed in your mind over the years? Does like the has like the definition of like being that kind of troublemaker changed for you? Like, does it mean more or less, I guess?
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for asking that one. Yeah, that's interesting. No, I don't know. It just kind of comes naturally. It's like because I collaborate with a lot of different people. One being my pal Mike Manischewitz, who he's a director. We did the a music video for GWAR recently called Lot Lizard. And that's a good example. But like we've done a bunch of Squid Pisser videos together, and Cancer Christ, and my old band the Manx. We've just been working together for so long, and we'll get together and we're just like my wife, she's like, you guys are just some chuckle maniacs, just like cracking up, like cackling together because we're just like, what's the most ridiculous, stupidest like thing? And then let's like push it a little further and push it a little further and like I don't know, it's just like fun to be mischievous, I guess, and like make people think or um I don't know. Yeah, I guess it depends on the context, but like I don't know. Yeah, that's something that just comes naturally. Garbage Pail Kid is definitely like a great term for that because like I remember being 5 years old and just being obsessed with the cards and the movie and all that stuff and like so yeah. Um
That was a
yeah.
compliment. Yeah, I didn't mean for that to come up when you're definitely a compliment.
Yeah, no, I definitely take it as such like but yeah, thanks for noticing. Yeah, I mean, like same thing. That's why I got into GWAR. It's just like, all right,
Right.
so we're chopping, um, you know, you get it. Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw GWAR was in a newspaper clipping, and I think I was in like fifth grade, and It was like something in the LA Weekly, and it's something said like literally something about a band dumping like whale semen on the ground. And
Yeah.
I had to like ask my dad, what is whale semen? And so it was a formative moment. Now he loves GWAR. But at the
Wow.
time he was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
remember, and it's like the same time, kind of around the same time, I started to get familiar with Marilyn Manson too, where it was like another shocking thing, or like Rammstein, where it's like this thing that you might not comprehend it, but you know that it's supposed to like get under you and like make you think in weird ways. And it's always the best ones that make you think, but not what to think. They don't tell you what to think. And so I think Squid Pisser walks that line really well. So does GWAR, even if GWAR is like way more manic about it, or comic about it, I guess. But yeah, it is cool to see somehow like shock rock tactics in the modern landscape. If that makes sense, shock rock.
Yeah, no, I totally, and that's a term that we discuss a lot at GWAR, and then like that's something that's kind of also in my DNA growing up in the 90s with Marilyn Manson and new metal and I mean there's always been this all of that, but like it got kind of like extreme and really visceral in the 90s like you're saying. And so for that to be like an element in the art and that I enjoy, that's always going to be the case, I think, like yeah, I'm trying to think of like a movie that came out recently that's got anything like that. Like I just saw Obsession, which like had some great stuff, kind of like what we're talking about. Um, and I don't know.
I'm terrible
Um,
with movies, so
oh
I don't.
really?
Yeah, I mean, I watch them, but I am so obsessed with like the music that I like talk about soundtracks all the time, but I don't. I'll listen to more soundtracks than I watch movies.
Whoa, yeah. That's cool. Me too, actually. But I've been trying to like find time to just like turn everything off and like just try and focus for an hour and a half on something because it's becoming more and more difficult to do that. And yeah, especially being on tour, it's like you're just working so hard and it's like, oh, can I just not talk to anybody? And
Word.
then, it's a challenge to just do that, but it's good. It's like, necessary to tune out or give your attention to something else or without
Yeah,
work.
you're right. I think it becomes a practical thing as you get older. You're like, well, this is like all of the senses kind of minus smell maybe. So
Yeah.
that it helps to like just yeah zone in on that. And speaking of like movies and television stuff, obviously you worked at Cartoon Network for a while. Are you getting the notification that we're running out of time?
Oh, 10 minutes.
Okay, perfect, cool.
Yeah.
Um, was it difficult to transition from like your animation jobs into doing the full-time music stuff?
No, I mean, I was essentially doing all full-time band stuff in my teen years, and then I moved to LA and I was trying to do full-time band stuff, but I was entirely way too poor. It was too expensive and wasn't making enough money like working at coffee shops and shit. It was just miserable. I was suicidal like for years. And then so animation was just kind of like a oh, here's an opportunity to make money where I don't have to worry about being homeless, and
Sure.
so that was a really lucky thing. I had met my pal Mike Chillian, who plays accordion in the Manx, my band, and he was in animation and kind of like he saw how driven and focused and everything I was, and he kind of like opened that door for me to some degree. So but then doing that, I did animation for like 10 years and it was um great to some degree, but like you're kind of working to support someone else's vision if it's like someone else's show, even though you may be doing creative stuff, which is rewarding in ways, but like I always had a band on the side, but it felt bad that I had a band on the side that it was just a hobby. And um so it was always like a thing where it was eating at me to go full on with trying to just do, rock and roll. And then I forget, it was like 2019 or something, or the animation industry just like imploded or collapsed in on itself.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think streaming and everything, yeah. And so I couldn't even really find a job if I wanted to at that point, which was insane because I had been doing it for over a decade and stuff. And um, so then I was like, oh, perfect time to just like go full in and like actually actualize this project that I had been wanting to do for a long time. That was Squid Pisser, and then Cancer Christ as well, where um I wanted to Squid Pisser. I always had an idea to like again make it a bit more esoteric and challenging for listeners and challenging for writing. And then I also wanted to do like a straight, just kind of like simple metal or thrash or hardcore band,
Sure.
and just that was much easier to just like shit out songs kind of. So that was Cancer Christ. And but you know, all these things that I was doing in tandem, spinning all these plates kind of like led to the next thing to the next thing. And that's always how it was. But um now finally it felt like after animation I was in this realm where I was like, all right, cool. All I'm putting out records now, and there's messages behind the records, and it's stacking up and it's feeding into itself. And I'm, you know, being in this music realm, it's so much of just meeting people and having your resume, and that's like in the form of records. It just feels so good to like put out an idea and be able to hold it and be like, that's the fucking record. All right, move on to the next one, and then have know that there are more in the pipeline and other projects. So yeah, I'll say that like, you know, just doing band stuff in general is much more fulfilling for me personally than the animation stuff, even though it was really fun and lucrative in ways, and creatively fulfilling as well. But just like there's no replacing for me anyways, like doing this band stuff. I just feel like I was destined to do it since the first moment I heard Dookie when I was like 8 years old or whatever, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's the long answer to that to
Dude,
that.
that's awesome. Um, Damn it, I had so many good follow-ups brewing, and then you said Dookie, and I was like, oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Um, that's so, my parents got me Dookie because they thought it would be a safe alternative to what I had been trying to listen to, which was Marilyn Manson. And they were like, just take this. Your sister says this is good. And I was like, masturbation's lost its fun.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
But
so
it's so like poppy and like yeah,
it's a great
happy.
record.
Oh yeah.
I bought every time I see a different like vinyl of it, I'm just like, I have to fucking
Gotta get it. Did you
yes.
see Michael from Squid Pisser just sent me that like is it Marshall? I think just released like a baby blue amplifier head.
Yeah,
Like
I can't
a
remember who is doing it, but I did
Flex
see that. 'Cause
something.
it's like a blend. That was his thing. Is like you would blend the two cabs, or maybe it was two heads. Because they made a pedal like an
Yeah.
MXR, and I thought they did a really good job with that. But the fact that they could do that with an amp is crazy. That would be
Yeah,
so
yeah.
sick to have. I enjoy playing a lot with like plugins and like building my sound, but every time I get even remotely close to that like Rob Cavallo sound, I'm like, save that.
Yeah. Nice.
How did I do that?
Yeah, hell yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I bet that thing's gonna sell out quickly and I couldn't afford one anyhow, but that
Oh my
I
God,
never
yeah.
really get excited about stuff, but like that amp I would be like, fuck, I really wanna did you mess around with the West Borland like suite that came out? I forget it was SLT tones or something like that.
No, I didn't know he did that.
Yeah, that's it's got a bunch of amps and effects and stuff, like his signature kind of stuff. I got that and I've been playing with that here and there, and it's really cool. I don't know, I think that's pretty cool when you can kind of like tap into someone's sounds and have access to it all and stuff. It's fun.
Yeah, the plugins are, I mean, it's moving faster than I can keep up with. I am doing a little thing with like Yvette Young and Mixwave for her new plugin suite. I
Oh
really
wow.
what's the Villagerta, they're like a Thal suite. It's like a heavy guitar suite for like ultra gent and all that. I'm very curious about that. Just because it has some unique clean stuff going on too. But um yeah, I'm a huge fan of whatever I can get my hands on with plugins because it's just there. Digital ownership is something that I think we should be concerned with, but at the same time, right now I can make it work. But like in all these other things, like in music and in video games, we are seeing like rights to that stuff diminish after having being sold like these licenses, right? So I think having the hardware is good. Maybe it would be worth it to shell out for the Dookie amp.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's the
For me,
thing.
at least, you have oranges and stuff, but I am constantly replacing that shit. I need a good amp, and I've ever since maybe you've met other people at Guitar Center, but they'll sell all their good shit when they don't work at Guitar Center because they got that cheap there. And
Nice.
so I had a bunch of cool stuff, and then I just have like part caster stuff everywhere now, and I love it all dearly, but nothing's super cool because I just want to keep it on the low.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
Pirate ship. That's what Guitar Center is.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I hear. That's what I'm feeling from that.
I love it still, but yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think like I've never been like a gearhead really, but like over time you just end up with stuff, even if you're just getting one new thing a year. Um, yeah, during the pandemic, I keep bringing that up, but it's like I was getting really into like semi-modular stuff like Moog and things like that. And
Oh boy. Yeah, a lot of people kind of got into that.
it's so fun just to see what happens, basically, start plugging
Yeah.
stuff in.
You
Yeah.
really become the instrument when you have like a big enough setup. Like it's really down to your imagination. And if you just move that patch one thing over, it's like a completely different thing.
Yeah. Or it doesn't work at all or nothing
God
happens.
damn it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, geez, and why? But it's so fun. Yeah, it's like a rabbit hole. I'd be like in my underwear for like tw 10 hours a day, just like tweaking stuff and not even recording anything, just having fun. But
Dude, weren't we all?
yeah, it's nice.
Um, do you
You
want to
want to
hop over to the
back over?
other? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I'll leave and hit it. Okay.
Okay, yeah, here, I'll let me stop the recording and I'll just like the whole other thing. I'm gonna get it right there. Anyway, so you have a label that you still use called Sweatband, right?
Yeah.
What was it like when you were integrating with you wanted to go full time with music? What was reaching out to labels like? Like, did you already have a hookup with labels, or like how did you meet Skin Graft? How do you met them before?
Uh, yeah, Mark at Skin Graft. I can't quite recall what happened with that. If he reached out or if I reached out. I mean, I had reached out several times over the years to Skin Graft with other bands and things.
Okay.
And likely maybe I didn't hear back. I don't know. Everything's so chaotic. I mean, you're always just trying and hustling and reaching out and trying to make things happen, So, um, yeah, there are a number of labels that I think it would be awesome to work with, and it's like, you know, you grow up just like looking up to all that stuff, and Skin Graft was definitely one. 31G was one. And yeah, I don't quite remember what happened with that or how it came to be, but just kind of lucked out. And now I work with Mark all the time because he's putting out um we've done two releases so far. We're doing this third one, Throat Slave with Skin Graft, and he's so great and helpful and wonderful and sweet and kind and helpful and
He is the nicest
prolific.
guy that I know in record business,
Right?
probably.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's unusual too, I feel. Like I don't know. He's just really sweet.
Yeah. I feel bad because sometimes we'll work together on so many projects in a year, but then I'll work with something else or get distracted, and then like we're just syncopated for the rest of the year, because he'll like be like, "Remember this one record came out?" And I'm like, "That was 6 months ago, man," and
Yeah.
it's not his fault; it's mine. But you got to make some sacrifices with the blog. But yeah, it's lovely to hear from him always. That hyper girl thing that he was talking about last year was really cool. I love futuristic sounding music that doesn't necessarily sound like rock. Uh,
Yeah.
like I love both and all of the variations, but when you hear something that's like unsettling and new, I love that. That's part of what keeps me around math rock is like
Yeah.
if something is weird enough to be called math rock, most likely I will. It's more likely I'll be into it because I just won't be familiar with that. One of the cooler ones would be like Three Trap Tigers, if you ever checked them out. They're like a UK band that, to me, this is a weird description, but it's always sounded like what I think Transformers strippers would listen to.
Oh,
Like,
I can
I was
picture
like, this
that.
has a really cool, like, dancey, sort of like IDM vibe where it's like, I don't know, but also it has like the sound design of the early Transformers films. So I'm just like, this is very cool and overwhelming. I like that a lot. Um, but I mean, before we go into this other meta thing, I do want to touch a little bit more on both the new EP and the gear. Um, when you are going in to record something, do you just record what, like with what you've got, or do you go in thinking a lot about what pedals and amps and guitars you're bringing in?
Yeah. Um it depends on the situation. So like most of Throat Slave, this new Squid Pisser album was recorded on tour with GWAR. So I just have this portable rig in in a Pelican case um with my laptop, and I'm just in hotel rooms, and then I was using on the bu GWAR bus we have like these Steinbergers, you know? No, yeah.
No
Um
heads, right?
yeah, yeah, those guys have been using those for years, and they're always on the bus because they just you put them in the closet there, and I got to use Mike Bishop's bass, which was used on Scumdogs of the Universe and
Oh, cool.
other GWAR stuff, and I'm just like in a hotel room with this like legendary bass, just like I'll track some squid pisser now. Like it was just like so sick. So like that was very much a situation where it was just whatever I had around. And then I also too just like I only had like six pedals or something. And normally I have an arsenal of like 50 pedals or whatever when I'm home and I can do whatever I want. So this album was a bit different where I was just like, this is what I have, so this is what the sound is, and just embracing that, kind of going back to what we were saying about like not getting too hung up on things and just like going with the flow and shooting from the hip and like um yeah, just like not letting things stop you or slow you down because you can get so hung up on it needs to be like this, it should be, it can't, it has to be perfect, it can't be, whatever, but it can be whatever you have in front of you. So that's kind of what I've been doing. But like the first several Squid Pisser records, again, I was home during the pandemic that whole time. And I had my whole studio, because I record everything here at in my home studio, and everything was at my disposal. So it was just like, I'll try this, I'll try that. But also there was an element of just like um really not overthinking things and just like laying stuff down. Cool, that's what that is. Moving on. There's so much to do. So it's like doing left guitar, right guitar, and bass, and then also switching up from song to song too. Like I'm gonna use this distortion for this song and this fuzz for that song. And normally I wouldn't use a fuzz, but let's just commit to it. So I've been finding a lot of like power, empowerment maybe in like just committing to things and being confident in it. And it's been working out because you can, yeah, spend 10 years like sitting on a project and waiting for the right whatever the fuck. And so yeah.
That's cool. And I mean, that goes back. I know this would be maybe the fifth time we've touched on the pandemic, but you're one of the few people that turned that turd of a moment into a productive one. A lot of people, including myself, like shut down and were like, this is fucking it. I am not touring anymore. I'm gonna stare at the TV and like lose my mind. Um, and that's so cool that you didn't do that. You had like a
Oh
lot to
man.
you saw it as an opportunity to attack basically and like make your moves. You said you had like 100 songs demoed or something like that up to that point, and you're still chipping away at that, I assume.
Yeah, and then dipping into those for other projects too, GWAR or some other stuff that I'm thinking and talking to people about here and there, and Squid Pisser. So yeah, like there's a bunch of stuff. And then whenever I'm home, I just try and bust out as many demos and ideas as I can just to like kind of have them there so I can share with people or know that I can come back to them. So like just trying to be as productive as possible whenever you can. Um it has been really like fruitful and encouraging for me in every way because then it's like yeah, you just never. I think I saw or read like a quote 25 years ago or something that Tom Morello was like had his cassette tape and he's like, if I just make one riff a day, you know, and that's what he would do. And then he would go back and he's like, oh, well, how many riffs does he, how many iconic riffs does he have? I mean, all of those Rage Against the Machine riffs are fucking kind of iconic. So it's like, if you have enough stuff to sift through, then you can take the best of the best, and that's kind of what I've been an approach I've been trying to do. Because as a young person, it was like, this doesn't sound like what I want it to sound like. And so I can't commit to it. And I can't even like push past it
Yeah.
yeah. I have a brother, his name's Lucas, he's 17 and he plays guitar and stuff, and I've seen him struggle with that to some degree. And I'm like, dude, I remember being there, but just gotta go through it and like the next thing will be better and the next thing will be better. It's just you just gotta like keep working, you know?
That comes up with like a lot of the people that really rise to the top. It sounds like such a daunting thing, but when you take baby steps and do that one riff a day or like whatever, it does something happens, once you kind of like have this undeniable output, even if no one else is going to hear it, I think it does give you a lot of confidence. You're like, well, I can choose now and I don't have to spend so much time wondering if I could ever do it. You can do it a little bit, so you can keep working if that's the case. I have like an old computer. I don't even want to put a number on it, but that I had a period where I was like, I got expelled, and but I was able to come back after a week. I made like a speech to the board. It's all bullshit. It's because I covered Black Sabbath, but it was a fun thing where I got a week off essentially, and I had just got a computer to do music stuff with. So I had a garage band and I was in like 12th grade and it was all very new to me. And I was just like, well, I have like these, I know I can play guitar. So like just learning that I could hit record and like record those ideas was so powerful. I still need to go back and like harvest some of that shit. And that was 2010.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome.
So it is cool.
Yeah, some of the there are still riffs that I play that I came up with when I was like 13 that I think are like solid, and I got it. Same thing. I'm like, I got to do something with that. And yeah, there's some definitely some magic there when you're discovering everything. But so
So
then we got to just keep discovering stuff, I guess, you know.
so you are, I mean, I not to like put a label on it, but it sounds like there might be some stuff that you came up with a long time ago that might end up on a GWAR record at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Was there anything on this one? No. We just did like a 3 song EP with some live stuff on it, and I had that was all new stuff that I was demoing, and we were all working on together. And Casey, our bass player Beefcake, had some riffs and stuff, and then everyone threw a bunch of stuff into the pot, and that was very collaborative and an awesome natural occurrence of like, whoa, this is how we create together. Awesome. And
Wow.
we were pretty prolific and like just ripping on a bunch of stuff in a very short amount of time and came up with 3 songs. But I had a band in high school that was very inspired by GWAR. It was called the Broccoli Tacos, and like they
That's
definitely have some,
good.
yes, yeah, yeah, exactly. Definitely have some riffs that were like, I think would be like maybe good to reuse, and some stuff I've been kicking around. But yeah,
That's
who knows? We'll see if
amazing.
we get there.
Like just thinking about that, like does that give you like a little bit of I don't know, starstruck, or like do you feel a little crazy that like something you wrote as like a big fan that had like just seen them like could potentially end up on a record with them? That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like it's such a trip every day. Like it's really bizarre waking up and being in your favorite band that you grew up like just so inspired by. And then Zach Blair too. I remember talking to him. If I'm who played Flatus Maximus in,
Right.
in like 99 to 2001 or something. And he's in Rise Against now. Amazing, sweet, awesome dude. And I remember him again, if I'm not mistaken, saying like he wrote a few riffs in high school that are on Violence Has Arrived, which is like one of the seminal GWAR records. And so I can just imagine like, a similar thing where it's like, whoa, you wrote this thing in your bedroom, and now it's like GWAR is just like larger than life, like legendary. So it's like literally it's these gods, these monster space alien gods that are eternal, and they're playing a riff that you wrote when you're in your bedroom. It's just this weird
That
thing, you know?
that's amazing. I know I've heard of some cases like that, but they're always like generational talents. Like I know that like Nick Reinhardt was a huge fan from Terra. He was a big
Yeah.
fan of Zach Hill, and then eventually they played in projects together. And I remember him geeking out about it, and I was like, he is one of us.
Yeah, dude, I think everybody's like a huge geek on stuff. That's you can't not be, and then like you have to be really into all this shit in order to like make anything happen. You have to be like a huge fan first, I think, you know? So like it all makes sense. All the GWAR guys are huge fans of whatever they are, and that's what's driven them to do what they do. And yeah, so all the real ones I feel like are like really care about it and are fans and care about the art and stuff too, you know, like um so yeah.
I can't say it enough times. That's just crazy. But congratulations, no matter what.
Uh, yeah, it's super fun.
So
Thank you.
to sort of converse that, one of the questions here is simply, does Tommy Meehan relax?
Dude, no, things are fucked. Somebody texted me. Somebody hit me on Instagram. Some kid, I haven't responded yet because it's overwhelming. But somebody said like, "Hey, I have a question." He had to have been like 15 or something, or maybe fucking 12 or something. He's like, "I have a question. Do you have to like sacrifice a lot to do all this stuff?" And I'm just like, dude, you don't even know like how like taxed I am constantly." And yeah, so no, it sucks. I'm trying to get better at that, relaxing, and it's really tough because there's always cool stuff to do, and you're like, yes, I want to do that. Yes, like especially the more you're doing cool stuff, like opportunities are arising. It's like, all right, that's been a lifelong goal of mine for 30 years, so it's totally inconvenient, but I have to say yes to it and suffer the consequences. And but then it's like, what else would you rather be doing? So, no, my wife helps me relax a little bit, but she sees how hard I'm doing things and supports that and respects it and stuff. So she's also like, you know what you're doing, relax when you need to. And but she encourages me to. And yeah, man, no, it's tough, but like
I get that. I mean, as someone that struggles with ADHD and is only like coming to terms with it recently, I'm like, damn it, this is an adult thing I have to actually work my way around. Relaxation is a big thing. I always want to write if I'm thinking, and I'm always thinking.
yeah, right.
So that
You
shit does suck.
you struggle with it. What are you working on throughout the day? Like you're doing Fecking Bahamas stuff? Like is it like every day where you're like, oh shit, this just happened. I gotta do this. Like, and then you're
Yeah,
at the mercy of the world too, like all this outside input and stimulation of like news, right? That you have to cover.
I have 24,000 unread messages at this time, and it sucks because up until recently, it's only been me. So there's an added guilt to it. Or I'm just like, dude, I didn't get
No.
to Mark's email. I didn't get to Justin Pearson's email. I didn't get to all of these like other cool things. But I always try to just focus on the cool thing. And now that I have a job that is not going to like kill my soul on a daily basis, working with speakers and stuff, I'm looking to hopefully use that positive momentum to like concentrate and then use those, just concentrate and calm down about it, I guess. Like I too am really trying to find a way to calm down, um but also balance it. Like I know that I need to stay driven. I know that I need to like work on a number
Right.
of things, whether it's music, Fecking Bahamas, my personal life, or a whole bunch of things. Like I do struggle with not writing it all down all the time, but that's where guitar comes in for me, and I'm just like, okay, shut up, and just
Oh.
like kind of meditate on it. So for a long time, I'll like alternate between like very basic, like technique driven stuff, and then just absolutely going hamburgers and like mercilessly destroying the guitar. So I go to practice for a while and then let it all out. And somewhere in there, you kind of relax, but I don't know. It's getting into that flow state is just addictive.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually a good point. Like jamming, playing guitar where you're just like not maybe doing it for a purpose or learning a set or learning something like that's also where, or even with them, just if you are doing exercises or something with a metronome, that has been very like therapeutic in ways where you're just doing dexterity stuff, but you can kind of watch a movie and you're just like zoning out a little bit. Um, Most people chill at the beach and like don't do anything and then like I don't know, jamming to like some blues or doing some lead stuff where I'm not thinking about what key I'm in or anything. Like that also kind of does it where you lose yourself a bit, but somehow you're still working toward the thing. So it's like you're not fully relaxed, but
Also, I
that's a
think
good point.
a Tommy Me and Blues album would scare the shit out of people. I think that's a terrifying idea. Like everything's just like one note off, like one semitone messed up.
Mm.
Um, but I know you got to jump onto another meeting in a sec. I just want to close with the thing I meant to open with. Is there any chance we're gonna get a sequel to Ball Fondlers?
Yo, hopefully that's funny. I was recently one of the Rick and Morty like directors or something came to a GWAR show, I believe. I think that's how we started chatting. Um, and he's like a friend of a friend, and we were chatting a little bit and about because I had worked on season 1 of Rick and Morty, and I was like, oh man, I really miss it. Like, if there's any way to like get something, you know, like get involved again, and we were kind of talking about because like my friend Mike Chillian, who worked on the pilot episode, put Odorous and Beefcake in the pilot episode as little silhouettes. I don't know if you,
Oh shit.
yeah. So GWAR is in the first pilot episode of Rick and Morty, and we were like, maybe there's a way to like circle have GWAR like have this story arc.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
so fuck, man, maybe that would be awesome. But who
It's a
knows?
good jingle.
Thank you, thank
An
you.
effective
But dude,
jingle.
similarly, I had just gotten Logic. That was like I had gotten Logic to start learning how to score because I was about to go on to Uncle Grandpa, and I didn't know how to use MIDI at all. And I was like experimenting, and that Ball Fondlers theme song was just like the first time I had ever used MIDI really.
Oh wow.
Just like grinding drums. I was like, what can you do? Um, but
Logic is awesome. Honestly, it's come a long way. I use it all the time. I know there's better stuff to use, but if you are working with a laptop, I can't think of something that just makes it easier and still feels pro.
yeah, yeah. That's what I've used for the last like 15 years or something, and so I'm just used to it. But I'm more curious to get into Ableton. Like GWAR is running Ableton for lights.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like the environment.
Yeah,
That is cool. And that's next level shit, honestly. Like I think a lot of people that got Ableton because they play guitar and just want to record their band would not know what to do with that. But the fact that multiple artists can like collaborate in that, that is definitely the next step for sure. That's a very boomer thing for me to say,
the next step, Ableton.
but
Yeah.
that's what's up. That's next
No,
for
I feel the same way. Yeah, it's tough because we're busy doing a million things, and then it's like keeping up with the technology is like a whole other thing. It's just or fucking doing social media stuff, which is just like such a grind, and I don't know. You know how it goes.
yeah, that's been my Achilles heel. It's still working, but it's yeah, it's bad. I if I could like slam my credibility and use AI for one thing, it would be that, but I'm not going to do it.
Do you do all your own Instagram and social media stuff?
Everything, yeah, I've completely ignored the Facebook page for a while, which sucks because that's like where we had like over 10,000 fans for a while. I just don't want to engage with what I see there.
Yeah.
Instagram is only a little bit better, but it's like I have more control of the audience. We're working on getting a Discord launched, and we're working on getting away from like Bandcamp and stuff because they are starting to like fall through the cracks too. So I think there's going to be another shift of like a lot of artists going from the popular things that have worked to these new things like Subvert and Amp Wall, Chorus, new sort of social apps that are better for the artist, but are still very new to me. I'm still getting used to all of that before I even like introduce it and do a Discord and tell people like, hey, if you read us, and I know like there are thousands of you out there, like go here instead. Go to the website. Go to the Discord. Let's get off the meta shit. It's gonna take a while, but that's a big goal for us for sure.